Okay, so if you are ready to anchor your sacred union in physical form, you've been doing the inner alchemy work, you've been really focusing on your connection to and communion with God, you've really rooted in self-love, in integrity, in your truth, make sure you are not missing this fundamental step in the process to bringing that inner vision into your manifested reality. Hello and welcome to Temple of Akasha, the home of embodied spirituality with me, Cupid, aka Natasha. Today, I'm really excited to share with you what I feel is a really fundamental step in bringing the sacred union template into physical form. This is for those of you that have really been doing the work, those of you that have been focusing on self-love, inner union first, have really been prioritizing your connection to your heart and to God, and you're now ready to bring that union, that vision for union into physical reality, into a devoted container and partnership. This is really fundamental and it's a game changer. Before I share with you what this step is, a quick reminder that if you enjoy my content and it's valuable to you, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing with those that you feel might benefit. It really helps my channel reach the right people and those that need this content. So let's talk about this step, this secret ingredient in the process of bringing sacred union into physical form. For those of you that feel you are on the path of anchoring the sacred union templates here on earth at this time, those of you that are dedicated to the path of love, the way of love, of using a committed and devotional container to honor God, because to me, divine union, sacred union is a chamber of worshiping God. That is why we enter into sacred union. It's not for our own ego gratification. In fact, these are the connections where the ego goes to die, 1,000 deaths, okay? We offer up our ego in sacrifice and in service to God. We offer up ourselves as channels and conduits to unconditional love, to open-hearted love through these divine partnerships. If this is the love you're calling in, that tantric alchemical marriage with another being, this step is really, really, really fundamental. It's going to sound ridiculously simple, but once you have established this and you have a very, very clear understanding of it, it's going to streamline your process, I promise. So let's talk about it. You've got to get clear on your vision and you must be completely loyal to that vision. This is paramount. When I'm talking about the vision of your partner and your partnership, I'm not talking about shallow characteristics. Oh, he's got to be 6'2", he's got to be blonde, he's got to like this TV show. I'm not talking about those things. In your heart, there is a knowing, there is a gnosis that has been seeded about what you deeply, deeply desire from divine partnership. When you feel into your heart space with regards to your divine partner and your divine partnership, feel into the qualities of that. This is the highest expression of relating possible in a romantic union, okay? So when I'm asking you to get clear on the vision, I'm really asking you to hone in on those fundamental things that are non-negotiable for you, your needs, your values, your boundaries, your goals in a partnership, and then specifically in relation to your partner. What qualities does that person embody? What qualities do they elicit within you? Get very, very clear about these things, because that is you sending the signal to God to say, I'm ready, right? I've done enough work to know myself and I'm now ready to see that mirrored in my reality. If you don't have the vision, like any other manifestation process, you are not going to be sending out a clear signal of readiness, okay? You're not going to be open to receiving because your energy is going to be wishy-washy. It's going to be uncontained. When we start creating and accessing the vision of what we deeply want in our divine partnerships and from our divine partners with honesty, we start to say to God, okay, I have done the inner exploration work. I've cleared so much of the conditioning from the heart space. I see the vision that you've seeded for me and I'm ready for it. I feel it and I'm ready for it. So you are starting to will it to come into form when you access this vision, and when you really begin to really become loyal and pledge your allegiance to this vision. I'm going to give you an example from my experience. For those of you that have been on my channel for a while, you may know that I was for over 6 years in an alchemical process with my twin flame. So this was the catalyst counterpart for me that begun the process of me very rapidly moving through an inner union process, okay? And this individual seeded the vision of divine union in my heart. They awakened the God flame within me to, first of all, be in communion with God, but then to also be in a communion with a physical counterpart in service to God. So there was a very much a catalyzing quality to this partnership, and it was so activating. And throughout my process, I got stuck in the cul-de-sac of thinking that the process was about this man specifically. What I want to share with you right now is, regardless of whether or not you've met the person already or not, do not focus on the physical, tangible expression of the being. Focus on the frequency, focus on the feeling, focus on the felt sense experience of what you want to bring into form. When I started to really become clear on the vision, I allowed the physical expression of my counterpart to fall away, and instead I let my heart lead the way. I wasn't focusing on him specifically as a man. I was focusing on the vision that God had given me, the frequency that was available to me, the highest expression that was available to me. And it wasn't about a man, it was about an energetic resonance. And so I've recently established a divine union with a different counterpart, I believe, that is now my twin ray, or someone that I believe is the elevated expression of that alchemical marriage process that I was moving through before. And the way in which I was able to be ready for this connection was getting really, really clear on the vision of the heart. So the way in which you can do this at a practical level is to write a love list. And it's to get very, very clear about what you want your partner to embody, how you want them to be, what is non-negotiable for you. So for example, on my love list, when I went to write it, after going through several dynamics, especially with my twin flame, that, you know, of men that were unavailable, who had children, who were in complicated home situations, or who had complicated situations and weren't able to fully commit to me. After enough schooling in that, I got very clear on the vision, you know, after moving through a lot of contrast and pain and polarity, that I want a man that is fully available for me. I want a man that is committed to me. I want a man that is loyal to me. I want a man that will adore me as much as I know that I will adore him. You know, I've got so much love to give. I have a huge heart, as many of you do, I'm sure. And I've got so much love to give a partner. I knew that I wanted a partner with reciprocal energy, with a pure heart, with a big heart, who could be as devoted to me as I know that I would be to them. You know, so I wrote these things down. He's got to be available. He's got to have a pure, open heart. He's got to be doing the work, you know, not early on in his journey. That's not for me. I wanted someone that was already very well established in a spiritual path, who understood this process of communion with God, and who was intent on it as much as I am. You know, I wanted an equal. I wanted someone who I could create service and mission based projects with. I wanted someone who wanted to share the service work with me. So I didn't want someone that was going to go off and just, you know, do their own thing. So I really wanted someone that I could live my Dharma with. I wanted someone that burned enough for the love of God, and with the love of God, where they would actually want to use that to fuel service work, to fuel the awakening of others, to fuel the opening of hearts of others. So it felt very, very important to me that whoever I was calling in also really wanted to be in service with me, and that we could begin moving our mission into form together. So they're just a couple of examples of the things that I put on my list, and I got really, really specific with some of the things, you know. There were some things that have manifested that weren't even specifically on the list, but were very much in the heart. But I thought, oh, you know, I won't be too picky about that. But for example, I wanted someone ideally that wanted to create content with me, because I love creating content, but I don't necessarily have the skills to create the type of content that I envision creating. Well, God has delivered not only this incredible, angelic, magnificent man into my life, but he also happens to be a filmmaker and holds the same vision as me to create beautiful heart-led content that's going to support people's awakening and illumination. So my point is, when you get clear on the vision, what you do is you create containment for that energy, right? The energy of your own devotion, the energy of your own love. You create a container for it. It creates a signal, if you like, a beam, okay? So it's like you're creating a channel that says, this is what I want, and then it creates a streamline and a channel for it to get delivered to you. It's not a scattered signal you're sending out. It's clear, it's precise, it's aligned. And crucially, you know, you have been given the vision to actualize. So first you must be clear on the vision so that you can be in a state of receivership of that vision. And so make a love list. Take some time to get really clear on what's very important to you in divine partnership, and specifically in a divine counterpart. Again, do not focus on a person. If you have an existing person in your field, I really encourage you to let the vision of them and the idea of them specifically fall away. Maybe there are elements of their personality, their characteristics, their essence that you really value that you can put on the list, but don't make the list specific to them. I really encourage you to honor the frequency and not the person, because it's an incredible thing to witness that when you let go of control and attachment to a certain outcome, you get either what you've asked for or better. Okay, what has now anchored in my reality is beyond what I could have envisioned for myself. What is happening in our shared reality between me and my beloved, it's more than we could have envisioned for ourselves. But both of us respectively got very clear on the vision, and then we let God decide on the who. We let God decide on the when. So this process of getting clear on the vision actually requires you to be in a real deep state of trust and surrender to the vision, not imposing your egoic ideas, okay? Really getting clear and humble on what the heart is asking of you from a partner. You know, not, oh, he's got to wear this brand of clothing and he's got to look like this. These are all shallow characteristics. I've heard it so much from people in client work. Oh, but I want him to have these certain qualities, you know, in terms of, you know, aesthetics or things like that. Can you trust the vision of your heart? It's been seeded there by God, okay? Allow yourself to be in receivership of a vision greater than you can envision for yourself, okay? Allow yourself to receive what the heart is sharing with you. It's leading you to exactly what you want and more. So you create your love list. You get very clear on what qualities, what felt sense experience, what embodiment, what frequency your divine partner carries. And then you must be loyal to that vision. This is the thing. This is the kicker. Most people have the clarity or get clear on the heart vision, and then they waver, right? Maybe they become impatient. Maybe they created the vision and then, you know, they want the union now. Or they're still attached to a certain person. And even though that person right now isn't fulfilling all of the things on the list, they're still making compromises and saying, oh, but, you know, he or she is this or that and the other. And I can deal with and I can sacrifice the fact that he's not actually showing up in this connection, or he's not actually available, but he will be at some point. I'm asking you right now, if you truly want divine partnership, for your own sake, get really real with yourself and honest with yourself about what is real, okay? If you're in connection with someone and they are not fulfilling the heart's desires, do yourself a favor, save yourself years of suffering, let go and trust. Let go and trust. It will either be that person reconfigured and ready for you, or better, I promise. But you must let go of attachment to a specific person or outcome. So you've got the love list, you remain loyal to the love list, and then in divine timing, when you are ready, when that emanation is strong in your heart of the vision, I promise you it will anchor. I'm going to share with you, my beloved and I had both been single for around 2 years before we met. We'd both been on very similar journeys of being celibate and really being clear after our respective breakups 2 years ago that the person that was going to come in next and be our divine partner would be no less than the sacred partner and sacred partnership, okay? Neither of us were interested in just hopping around and floating around dating. We both knew what we wanted. We wanted to meet another being committed to God as much as we were individually. My beloved actually said that once he had ended his previous relationship, that he would not even bother engaging with another woman unless he felt that he could truly marry that woman. You know, he got really, really ruthless, if you like, with being loyal to and in allegiance with that vision in his heart. And it's funny, last night we were speaking about the fact that in the approach to us meeting, he had quite a lot of women in his field, and he was having just this innate guidance when people were saying, hey, I can hook you up with this woman and I've got a potential contact with you. His field was just, the energy was telling him like, no, don't even bother, don't even bother. Respectively, I was being sent a vision, not of a person, but of a frequency of a love that was coming in, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And initially I thought it was my previous counterpart, and I could feel it, but I couldn't see it. And I knew something was incoming. And it's just incredible to witness how, you know, it's almost like once you get clear, the process begins. The process begins to seed and form, but you must then continue to lean in and listen to the guidance. All right. So you've created the love list. You are being loyal to that list. You're not wavering or making compromises on what your heart is asking for. Okay. You don't go, oh, he's 80% of the way there. No, the heart has asked you for a specific set of criteria, right, for you to fulfill your sacred union partnership. Don't let yourself down. Don't fall into struggle stories. You don't need to. This is divine love we're talking about. I'm not asking you to create unrealistic standards and expectations. The heart will never do that. That's the mind, right? The heart is gifting you what is possible. It's gifting you the highest expression of what is possible. So honoring that, and then once you have your love list, you're being loyal to the love list, it's your responsibility to lean in and listen to the subtle cues and guidance that's leading you to the very thing that you've asked for. So in preparation for my beloved and I meeting, there was an entire process that I'm sure we're going to both share with you on the channel at some point that led to us meeting through a mutual friend at a ceremony. And yeah, that whole process has been truly mind-blowing to see how it's unfolded. But we were guided to this specific weekend to be in this specific space together through this mutual friend. And, you know, there are many potential different outcomes. He had other people in his field. I had other options in terms of things I could have been doing. But we were both intent on listening to the vision of the heart, and we were both intent on following our guidance, even if we didn't understand why, and trusting the process. So much of this process with inner union and outer union is about really relinquishing our egoic ideas of what is right and wrong, what is, you know, meant for us, and really allowing God's will to take over, really allowing God to lead the way on this, because there are things about this process that we will never be able to see or account for that are at play behind the scenes. And so we really must hand this over. Our job is to lean in and listen to the guidance each step of the way with humility and courage, and then allow God to orchestrate the rest. I promise when you do this, you will meet your divine counterpart at an opportune moment, at your opportune moment of readiness, and it will be so deeply satiating and nourishing to your soul, and you will never have to compromise. I cannot tell you how my beloved is almost like a fractal expression of the highest aspects of all of the other men that I've deeply loved or valued, and all rolled into one, and then 10x'd, you know. He is such a beautiful, divine mirror and counterpart beyond anything I could have envisioned myself. Every single box on the checklist of my heart has been ticked, and then a load of boxes I didn't even know existed. So I'm sharing this with you because I know what's possible, having been on this alchemical journey in a dedicated and devoted way for over 6 years. Trust me when I say it's worth the wait. Don't rush what is divinely intended for you. Let it unfold organically. Keep leaning in, keep listening, keep being honest with yourself, remain unattached to a certain outcome, and God will orchestrate the rest. So I hope this has been helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts, feedback, or perhaps any potential, journal prompts in the comments section if there's anything you want to share with other people. But this is such a simple and yet fundamental step in the actualization of the vision into form. So I hope it's been helpful, and I really look forward to introducing you to my beloved very soon. We are 1 week away from preparing to go to the other side of the world, back to his home country, New Zealand. It's been an absolutely wild, miraculous journey over the last few months. We're going to be sharing a lot more soon. But until the next transmission, I'm wishing you all the best. Take very good care, and I'll see you in the next video.